Hey, what's going on, everybody? If you think this whole online marketing thing is not beneficial at all, or it's fake, then I'll share a little story for you. But if you don't think this video is worth watching at all, just stay tuned for a little bit. It's going to be short, believe me, and I'll share you a bit of my experience so far, and you can make your own opinion from there. So basically, I've built everything on this online marketing business. I've built my whole life around it at this point. I used to work in the oil field. If you've already seen some of my videos, you are aware of that. Worked in the oil field as an instrument tech for about 9 years. Really decided, it wasn't something I wanted to do long term because I was so sick of being gone, being away from family. Just basically missing out on all the important things, and it just really started to get to me, and I realized this wasn't something I could do long term, despite the money. It was just not worth it. So that's why I decided to look elsewhere in the first place and look at a different means of making an income. So that's what all turned me on to the whole online marketing side of things. And reason being was because everything's moving online, and I didn't want to get left behind. I wanted to kind of adapt, I guess, with the economy, and try and get in there a step ahead of the game. And so that's kind of what really jump-started this whole career of mine now. And so if you still think it's not really the real deal, this is kind of what happened with me. So basically, I was working in the oil field. I got started, and it was just basically out of desperation to get out of the oil field is why I decided to jump into this. And luckily it worked out for me. But so when I started as well, I'd recently looked into a house. I locked in the house. I put down a down payment on a house in British Columbia here, Lake Country, British Columbia. I was originally from Alberta. Put the down payment on the house. I was still working in the oil field, and I was kind of doing the online side of things on the side, and just kind of to supplement my income, right? And it got to a point where I started to earn enough that I was able to leave my job in the oil field. I was able to match what I was making. So it was that point where I decided to pull the pin and do this, focus on this full time. At that point in time, I still had yet to move into the house that I'm in now, because it was being built. So in the contract, I put down the down payment of 10% in BC. If anybody knows where this is, it's not a cheap area to live. So just think of, if you can kind of get an idea of what kind of money I had to put down on this place to lock it in, right, and seal in the mortgage. So I put down the down payment, but within the contract, basically it stated that by the time the house was built, it took about 10 months, if I came back and at that point in time they reviewed my credentials and they looked over my income, and if I didn't have the proper income or credit to get approved for the mortgage, then my down payment, everything was gone, right? Everything was gone. So I was locked in. I was fully committed at that point, and there was absolutely no way that I could have, put all of that on the table if this wasn't something that was truly working for me, if this wasn't something that, had the potential that I was hoping for and looking for. So honestly, I had a lot on the table to leave my job in the oil field and focus on my online business full time. And if it would have came down to it, like I said, if this wasn't something that I knew was completely worth my time, it totally could have screwed me over out of a lot of money. So I basically put everything into it, knowing what I had here, and it was huge. And I know a lot of the people that have watched this, especially oil field guys, it's time to just put your ego aside, try something. I know initially, and this is what I struggled with at first as well, was I had worked so long to build up my reputation and my career as an instrument tech in the oil field, and I was decent at my job. So for me to start something completely fresh and new and try to learn a whole new skill set and be bad at it, and be the guy basically starting off as a first-year apprentice again, that was not something I liked, and it was not something I enjoyed, being the person who had to ask for questions all the time and everything like that. So that was really something I struggled with, was the whole ego side of things. And yeah, man, it sucked at first. Honestly, I'm not going to sit here and say that it wasn't hard. I struggled a lot off the bat, and getting over that ego, actually listening to what people were telling me, and instead of thinking that I knew everything. And once I actually set that aside, started listening to my mentors and all that stuff, and actually, utilizing the tools, things just started to fall into place, honestly. And I've been doing it for over a year now. I was just recently featured in Huffington Post, so it just kind of goes over my journey from instrumentation to online entrepreneur. So I mean, you can read that as well, and it's been quite the journey. It hasn't been all easy, but it's been the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. And yeah, that's just a bit of my story. So I mean, set down the ego, guys. Honestly, like if I didn't do this, I don't know where I'd probably be in the oil field until I was 55, 60 years old, and probably pretty miserable, honestly. So if you guys want to actually check out some more and learn some more on this, I know if you've seen these videos before, you probably know what's coming. If you want to check out a webinar, that's honestly, it's the best way to do that, to learn some more information. You can check out the webinar. I'll leave the link up here somewhere. It'll be probably above this ad, and you guys can click on that, register for it. It's completely free. You'll learn exactly what I learned when I started this out. And yeah, man, I guess my advice would be, I would just hope some people who are in a similar situation to me, or wasn't particularly happy with their situation, who was looking for a different route, to just set that ego aside, you know, have an open mind. And you know, you never know what can happen, honestly. You know, you could be living like in British Columbia like I am, which was always a dream of mine, or you could be doing whatever you've always wanted to do, you know, instead of wasting your life away up in camp or whatever it is you do for work, and just working non-stop and missing out and not spending time with your family and all that garbage that nobody likes, right? So that's my spiel. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys liked it, and please like this video, share this video, and click that link, register for the webinar. Just check it out, it's completely free, and then yeah, we can go from there. Awesome, guys. Thanks for checking this out. Peace.